Early morning departure from Phuket. Let's do this. Hey guys, Clumsy here. Welcome back to Microsoft Flight Simulator. Welcome back to our world tour. Decided to start early today, 6 a.m. in Phuket. Just going to, I think, match perfectly the sunrise there as we get going. So, prepare for some sights. We are in for a ride. The weather looks good. We'll be cruising at 7,000 feet today, and as requested, we'll try something different. We will actually be trying out Pilot2ATC. We'll see if we like it, okay? But yes, let's see. Just a few expectation settings. We will not have local accents, right? Pilot2ATC is a software, slash that in, a separate software that allows ATC instructions, communications while we are doing our flight. So we can have some guidance and it feels more real. But yes, it's a bit limited when it comes to the voices. I do have some more realistic voices than the default Windows Microsoft ones, but we'll see. Yes, I'll let you guys decide for yourselves. I try it out. Alright, let's go through the pre-flight checks first. Parking brake is set. Gear is down. Avionics are off. Mixture is full lean. Magnetos should be off. Let's double check. Yes, they are. Let's turn on the battery so that we can check the fuel. Fuel is around 15 gallons on each side. Should be more than enough. Annunciators are all lighting up. We can turn off the batteries now. And we can perform our flight control check. If they are free, including the rudders, they are. That guy should be in the empty for now. Alright. And but are they correct? Left and right. Right and left. Okay, and the stabilizer at the back. Okay, looks good. How about the flaps? 1025 40 and the other way. And on this side, so far so good. Alright, looking good. How about the trim? The elevator trim. It's in the middle. Alright, good. Pre-flight exterior, I've done that already. Tie downs and chocks have been removed. All door is closed. All quantity is more than 6 quarts, yes. And yes, the doors are closed. This is this window that's open. That should be fine. Right. Let's see. Are circuit breakers in? Yes, all of them are. Alternate air is off. And with that, we can push forward the prop RPM lever and the fuel selector, fullest tank. They should be even from what we've seen a while ago. So let's go with left tank. Alright. Throttle will be half of an inch forward. That's not exactly correct, but we can live with that. Turn on the batteries. Yes, it's 6 a.m. right now here in Phuket. Looking good. Turn on the beacons. Turn on the nav lights as well. And let's verify that outside. Yes, beacons are lit. And yes, nav lights are on as well. Cool. And look at that, guys. Yes, the sun is starting to make an appearance. Looks like there's somebody there as well. Interesting. Okay. Alright, let's see. So what next? We need to prime the engine. So let's push the prime button here. And full mixture. Couple of seconds. Fuel flow rises. Love that sound. Alright, looking good, looking good. And with that, we can clear prop and start the engine. Beautiful. Love that sound. And let's pay attention to the throttle here because it will start rising very fast. So we'll have to pull back on it. Keep it at 1500. That looks good. Alright, let's double check that the Oil pressure is in the green, oil temperature, fuel pressure, everything looks good. By the way, maybe we can have some lights like that instead, so it's not a spotlight flashlight, right? Also, we can close the window, it's a bit loud. Yeah, the reddish tint matching with the reddish sky. Why not? Okay, now we can turn on the avionics as well. And we can start tuning into some of the radios, because yes, we will be using radios today in line with working with ATC. I really hope this works. I haven't tried this with this plane before, but we will do our very best for it, okay? Right, so initially we have 116.9, and then we have 110.0 for the Chumphon. We're going from Phuket to Chumphon, if that's how you pronounce it. But yes, we don't have the second VOR in range yet. We do have the first one though, and we will be departing on a 026 radial. So that's 02. That should be 025. That's 026 more or less. You can verify that here as well. 025, 026. Yeah, just a bit off that line. Looks good. Let's get some lights in here though. That would be pretty scenic. Yeah, that's perfect. Beautiful. Okay, looking good. What next? Oil pressure, we've checked that. Landing lights, let's turn that on. It's a bit dark here. Avionics are on. Radios, yes, we'll have to set the radios. Transponder as well. Let's put that on standby. But yes, we'll have to tune in to ATIS. Yes, we do have ATIS because we have Pilot2ATC. So let's go and tune that in 128.0. And just to warn you guys, it will be someone will be speaking, okay? So just so you don't get surprised. And we have Joanna here as our co-pilot. Sometimes ATC has trouble understanding me, so she will help us with the pronunciations. 128.0.
Phuket International Information Zulu. 230 Zulu winds are 280 at 10 knots.
280
Visibility
at
6
10.
miles. 2,000 few clouds. Temperature 29. Dew point 24. Current QNH is 1008. Arriving and departing runway 27.
27, okay.
Phuket International Info.
Good, alright. And I forgot already what it was. What did I say? 1008? I think so. That's close enough. Alright, let's put that in here as well. But that's one of the cool things that we'll get if you have Pilot2ATC. For those airports that are big enough, we'll have ATIS even. Good, so let's go and tune into clearance delivery frequency, which is 118.55. 118.55. And let's see if we can request for our clearance. I'll have to do a radio check first though. How do I call myself? I think they're expecting Arrow India Charlie Lima for us. Arrow India Charlie Lima, radio check.
Arrow India Charlie Lima, you are loud and clear.
They call us Lima. I guess we can live with that. Alright. Arrow India Charlie Lima requesting IFR clearance.
Arrow India Charlie Lima, this is Phuket clearance delivery on 118.55. Please repeat your request.
Arrow India Charlie Lima, ready to copy IFR clearance.
Arrow India Charlie Lima, we don't have a flight plan on file for you.
Okay, that's going to be a problem. Let's go and file that in Pilot2ATC. And guys, if you're not familiar with Pilot2ATC, there should be links in the mods list for more details, okay? And how you can get it for yourself. It's a third-party application separate from MSFS. So that again. Arrow India Charlie Lima, ready to copy IFR clearance.
Arrow India Charlie Lima is cleared to Victor Tango Sierra Echo is filed.
Nice.
Expect departure runway 27. Climb and maintain 4,000 feet. Expect higher clearances 2 minutes after departure. Squawk 5164.
5164. Let's have Joanna read that back.
Arrow India Charlie Lima is cleared to Victor Tango Sierra Echo is filed. Climb and maintain 4,000 feet. Expect higher clearances 2 minutes after departure. Squawk 5164.
Arrow India Charlie Lima read back correct. QNH is 1008. Contact ground on 121.9er when ready to taxi. Enjoy your morning.
QNH is 1008, ground on 121.9er. Arrow India Charlie Lima.
Arrow India Charlie Lima ATIS frequency.
Alright, let's do that. Did I get that correctly? Okay, that's ground. Okay, let's do this. Arrow India Charlie Lima, ready to taxi.
Arrow India Charlie Lima taxi to runway 27 via taxiways Papa, Golf. Hold short runway 27.
Taxi to runway 27 via Papa Golf, Arrow India Charlie Lima. Okay, good. Let's release the parking brake. So yeah, how does that sound so far, guys? Does it sound unnatural? Does it break immersion? Is it okay? So this is more of an experiment and we'll tune it as we go. But yes, you let me know, okay? So we have everything set here. The heading we haven't set yet, so we'll set that. Pulling back here a bit. Papa is this way. That guy still hasn't left. It's like a Cessna. So it's a 265 on the heading. It's just a line here in the taxiway. 265 should be that one. Yes. Alright. 265 on the heading, so that's good. Taxi area, parking brake, brakes. Yes, I've tested that as well. Flight instruments look all good. Compass is working. Turn coordinator is working. That looks good so far. We'll have to do our ground check as well. So we'll line up near the runway and then we'll face towards the wind, which is 280 at 10 knots. So from our backs there, we'll make a 180 later. They should also give us a... they should transfer us to tower in a bit, 118.1. But since I don't have a standby frequency, what I can do... I think I can... Let's see if this works. If I set it up in COM2 so I can swap easily 198.1 here, and then later when they ask us to switch and I just do that, yeah, I think it works. I'm looking at Pilot2ATC and it's switching from COM1 to COM2. That is perfect. Okay, right, looking good. Let's see if we have other checks that we can do. No, I think everything else is for the run-up already. And the sun is starting to peek out from the horizon. Looking great there. Taxiing quite fast here. That's okay. We'll make it work. So this is a long stretch from Papa. Taxiway Papa. Golf is just the last leg, just that turn before the runway. There's the runway already. Right, so the last bit of taxiway is Golf. And we'll probably do our run-up on the right here. Just look for a vacant spot so that we're not blocking the taxiway. So this is... yeah, the taxiways are not consistent with the runway, with the charts. So disregard that alpha indication. This is Golf, supposedly. Yeah, that should be Golf. But what we'll do is we'll face this way. Probably go right here. I hope I don't hit those lights. Alright. That looks good for now. Face the wind. Parking brake is set. Alright. Mixture RPM full. And yes, we get some ATC chatter as well in the background. Thanks to FS ATC chatter. Or XATC chatter is the same thing. It's synchronized with Pilot2ATC. Alright, 2000 RPM. Let's see. Looking good there. Parking brake is set. Mixture prop throttle is set. Alright, let's check the magnetos. Let's look at the drop of the RPM. There. Minimal drop. That's looking good. Less than 100. Oh, that's different from before. I like that. Check the right one. Same drop. Let's get back. And this time, let's check from left. Going to right. And from right, going to left. Looking perfect. Alright, that's awesome. So we have the magnetos working. Vacuum gauge is 4.9, that's great. Oil pressure is checked in the green. Oil temperature a bit high, but in the green that's well within expectation. Why is the amperes off? Oh crap, there you go. That's why we have the checklist, guys. That's why we have the checklist. I forgot to turn on the alternator. So our battery was getting discharged and not getting charged at all. Thankfully we caught that. This is why we run the checklist, guys. This is why we run the checklist. Whew. That's good. Alright. And then now let's exercise the propeller. So let's pull back and immediately push it back forward. Let's do that 2 more times and see how it looks. Looking good. Alright. Let's do that 1 more time here. Alright. Perfect. Alternate air is, let's double check. That's this one. It's up, so it's off. Aux boost pump is off. We'll check that the fuel pressure is in the green even without the boost pump. That's perfect. And now we're checking for idle engine RPM. So pulling back on the throttle fully. And we'll see what the RPM is like. Should be around 700 based on past experience. Yes, 700 plus. That looks okay. Right. We don't want to stay here too long because that will foul the spark plugs. And that's really a thing here in this plane that's simulated well enough. Looking good. Alright. Perfect. So let's see. And yes, we have these checks as well. Battery on. If we went through this check a while ago, yes, I will notice that the alternator is off. So we have multiple checks as well. Strobes, yeah, we can turn that on. We're close enough to the runway. Landing light is already on. Aux boost pump should be on. Actually, should be low. Fuel is in the fullest tank, but let's start the timer. We'll switch the tanks every 15 minutes. Engine gauges, 1 final check. Yeah, that's all in the green, including the EGT here. Looking good. Mixer rich. Prop RPM lever is max RPM. We are not using flaps here. Trims are set, yes, in the middle. Cabin doors closed in latch, even the windows. Alright, we are good. Okay, so we can continue taxiing here. And we will signal. Ground should detect that when we're close to the runway and should switch us over to tower. Let's see how that works. As we get closer here, I'm expecting they'll reach out to us. Arrow India Charlie Lima. I have to get used to that call sign. It doesn't roll off the tongue quite well enough yet. Alright, how about that? No? Sometimes we have to request it manually. Ground Arrow India Charlie Lima. Request frequency change to tower.
Contact tower on 118.1. Have a good morning.
Tower on 118.1, Arrow India Charlie Lima. Okay, good. So switch frequency to COM2. There you go. We are now on tower frequency. Tower, Arrow India Charlie Lima, ready for departure, runway 27.
Arrow India Charlie Lima backtrack, runway 27 winds are 280 at 10
cool.
knots cleared for takeoff. Runway 27 maintain runway heading until above 1,100 feet, then turn right heading 054 to intercept course.
Ooh, that's a lot. Do you want to read that back?
Backtrack to runway 27, then cleared for takeoff 27. Maintain
That's cool.
runway heading
Even the
until
backtrack
above
part is there.
1,100 feet, then right to 054 Arrow India Charlie Lima.
So climb to 1,100 and then turn right to 054 heading. Clear. Runway is clear. So let's align the heading selector to 054, which should be somewhere there. Right, that should allow us to intercept the path that we set. should work out nicely. But I'm particularly surprised about that backtrack thing. That doesn't get called out often with Pilot2ATC. Oftentimes they'll just tell you that you're cleared for takeoff. That's nice. Right, runway 27, I see it on the markers there. Runway 27 is behind us. Yes, that's perfect. Alright, let's do this. Runway is clear. Good. Let's do a rolling start. "40 inches. Make sure we don't overboost. Airspeed's alive. 60 knots. At 70 knots, there it is. Start pitching up. And off we go. Very nice. We have a lot of runway left in front, so we are going to keep the landing gear down, just in case of emergency. Once we run out of runway, then we'll think about racing it. That's good enough. Alright, tap the brakes, gear up, continue climbing. Remember the instructions we were given? Climb to 1100 and turn right to 054. So we are keeping runway heading here. And we are going to be turning right later. Coming soon. Oh, that looks beautiful. Look at that beach, guys. And yes, perfect timing, right? Perfect timing. Alright, 1100, there it is. Let's start our right turn towards the 054 heading. Make sure we're in a coordinated flight here. Let me turn off the boost pump, turn off the landing light. We can arm the automatic gear extension thing. Looking good. Let's also pull back on the throttle, 33 inches.
Aero India Charlie Lima, contact Bangkok Center on 123.905. Enjoy.
Center on 123.905, Arrow India Charlie Lima. Alright, 123.905. Switch to COM 1. 054, okay, let me double check. RPM 2450, okay, looking good. We've been told to climb to 4,000 feet, so we can continue climbing here. Look at that, guys, beautiful. Oh my goodness, and let's have a look at the airport before we report in. Beautiful. Goodness, oh, that's the screenshot right there. My goodness. Alright, let's report in. Let's focus. How do we say this? Okay. Center, Arrow India Charlie Lima, climbing 4,000 feet. Did that work? Actually, no, because I got the wrong frequency. Should be 9 or 5. Did I move that? Okay. Center, Arrow India Charlie Lima, climbing 4,000 feet.
Aero India Charlie Lima, good morning. Radar contact.
There's the VOR coming alive. That's what we're intercepting. So let's go and line up with that. You should be given further clearance here as we get close to 4,000. Oh man. Alright, and as things calm down, I'll start sharing some photos with you guys, if I can remember. But yes, sometimes the workload will get heavy because of ATC, but it's pretty cool as well.
India Charlie Lima,
There we
climb
go.
and maintain 7,000 feet.
There we go. Climb and maintain 7,000, Arrow India Charlie Lima. Good. We do have pretty strong winds coming from the west here, from our left. So you can see we are crabbing to the left quite a lot, which is quite interesting. So the goal is to have this HSI line up perfectly, and I think I have to really turn to the left here to line up with it. Pitching for 104 knots, something like that. Yeah, it's perfect. Some clouds in front as well. I chose 7,000 feet because I looked at windy.com, and yeah, it shows 7,000 is it has the most tailwind for us, so that we can travel as fast as possible. And it also shows the minimum amount of clouds based on what I've seen. So we're keeping that for now. Oh, there we go. Past the HSI again. You know what? Let's get autopilot in here. Omni, heading on as well. Since the update, you have to have heading on now, even for Omni. Let's let it take care of that climb for us. And the altitude, I still have to manage on my own. I don't want to use the fake altitude hold for this plane. Let's make it as realistic as possible. We can use the tools available to us, but not anything fake as much as we can. Keep it climbing, looking good there. Let's make sure to push forward on the throttle. Keep that 3300 manifold pressure as we climb. That will start to lessen and lessen. And in the meantime, let's go outside. We'll get a bit loud, guys, okay? But we can take better photos here. Yeah, something like that. Over to the right, you should see somewhere. Some of these islands are very scenic, very tourist friendly, and I think we went there last time in real life. Somewhere there, one of those islands would be the famous James Bond Island. I think they call it that because there was actually I'm not sure which one it is, a James Bond film where they have that kind of where they shot the scene in that specific island, and from then on it got called James Bond Island. Look at that crab, guys. The autopilot's taking care of it for us. But yes, we have to be facing on a 015, yeah, 015 heading to be tracking 026 course. Interesting. Pretty consistent with what we've seen though. And if you look here, well, we're still climbing, so we'll see that later once we get to 7,000 feet. Push forward on the throttle. Keep that 33 inches of manifold pressure. Also let me know if the chatter is getting a bit too loud, okay? I can switch it out if necessary. 1 second. Let's see. Let me see if I can find some photos. I know I prepared something. Let me see if I can find it. Okay, world tour for Phuket. Oh yeah, this is James Bond Island. Let me show you. That's the one. So that James Bond Island should be somewhere in one of these islands here. I think it might be that one. Yeah, unfortunately the sim cannot represent it quite well, but that's the one. Phang Nga, Andaman, Thailand. Ao Phang Nga National Park. Probably not pronouncing that correctly. Yeah. When we went here, we stayed somewhere here on the coast, in the west. I think it's called Kaulak, but can't know specifically where it is. But yes, as you can imagine, amazing food. Like I tell you, Thai food is my absolute favorite. Across all types of cuisine, that is my go-to food. Comfort food, happy food, that works. Right, that's 7,000. Let's lower the RPM to 2200. 7,000, pushing forward on the yoke and trimming, so we can level out there so ATC won't get mad at us. Although what I'm seeing in front of me is not very encouraging. I'm seeing quite a buildup of clouds. Well, hopefully it's not too thick. Shouldn't be in any problem of icing. Yeah, because it's almost 20 degrees Celsius here. Icing conditions are anywhere from +10 to -10, so we should be safe. Although it is pretty windy, so my goodness, yeah, the plane is getting thrown around here. This would be a good time to check what our ground speed is in relation to our true airspeed. So let me stabilize here a bit. Let's lean the mixture for cruise, and then we'll see. Alright, there we go. Okay, let's go back here. Pulling the mixture, looking at that EGT. That EGT will rise up to a point and then it will lower. We're looking for the peak EGT. That's the... Okay, there it is. There's the needle. There's still climbing, still climbing. Oh, there's going down. Okay, push back again. And that is the peak EGT. That is going to be perfect. Oh, going too far up. It's going to be perfect for our cruise. Right, so let's go back down to 7,000. We might be encountering some updrafts and downdrafts here, making the altitude hold much more challenging. 1 second, huh? Thankfully, the ATC is not too strict right now. They're allowing a bit of deviation from the assigned altitude. Otherwise, we would have gotten scolded. Yes, that looks good. No problems there. 7,000, please. There, that's more like it. Also, yesterday I've been flying the Arrow. The Piper Arrow by Just Flight got released a few days ago. I featured that in the channel a couple of weeks back, I think. Yeah, very nice plane, a very good starter plane. A lot slower than this one, but a lot less complicated as well. Less things to fiddle with, which might be perfect, especially if you want to fly low and slow. If you want to take your mind off the necessary things to fly a plane, make it as simple as possible. Especially if you're starting out, that's going to be perfect. I flew it yesterday and it was very interesting. Quite some differences to this Arrow. A lot simpler. Oh, that looks great. Let's keep it that way. Remove the red light. 15 minutes. Oh, that's perfect. I actually timed it perfectly right now. Boost pump to low. Switch to the right tank. Engine sound is good. No sputtering. Fuel flow. Fuel pressure. Perfect. Okay, great. Right. Ooh, that lightning doesn't look good. Alright, so now let's go and check our true airspeed. That's around 18 degrees Celsius. A bit hard to see. So what we'll do, so we're at 7,000. Well, we were, but now we are going through some downdrafts, looks like. So 7,000, I'm aligning that to, let's say 20 degrees to keep it simpler. So 7,000 is this line right here, this solid line. Align that with almost 20 degrees, which is like there, maybe? There? Yes. So our true airspeed is 140, as that indicates. 145, yeah, it's playing around 150. No, we're going down. So it's around 140. And with that, if we compare what our ground speed is, it's 154. So we are actually getting around 14 knots of tailwind, 14 knots of tailwind. That is beautiful. Yeah, that's perfect for our trip today. That will get us closer to our destination faster. Very nice. And look at these clouds, guys, right? Look at these clouds, yeah. It's a bit windy, a bit turbulent, but hang in there. Keep your seatbelts fastened. And enjoy the ride. Man, that's great. There should be a nice national park here below, but I'm not sure we'll get a nice view of it. Do have some convective activity there. Yikes. But there should be somewhere here. But nonetheless, the clouds enough are scenic enough, I would say. So we can keep it as is. Anyway, I will keep on doing this, and I'll bring you guys back when there's something juicy. Okay, catch you guys in a bit. Oh my goodness, guys, yeah. Things have not been smooth here. Bringing you back because I'm not sure what happened. I just heard the stall warning for a second there. But yes, some terrible downdrafts. Oh, yeah, like so. Yeah, I thought I planned this out properly, but looks like I missed something in the forecast. Once we get stable here, I'll show you how the forecast looks like. There was nothing indicative of this much convective activity. Maybe these are updrafts and downdrafts from the mountains below, but yeah, look at that. Oh wow, although that looks great, doesn't it? Oh yeah, that's the national park, I think, that I wanted to show you. Okay, is our wing still intact? Okay, it's still there. Goodness, this is scary. Phew. One thing I also wanted to show you was about the flight plan. I haven't shown you that yet. It's going to be a simple flight actually. It's going to be a straight flight to the destination. So let me just see that we are stable here. Let me go an angle like this so I can see our altitude, even if I bring in little Navmap. 1 second, a bit more, like so. Alright, so we still have the view of the altitude on the right side. So this is little Navmap. That's the flight plan. It's going to be a straight path actually, right, going to the initial approach fix, or the intermediate fix rather, for the airport, Chumphon, Victor Tango Sierra Echo. 1 second, the altitude is running away from me again. This is when an altitude hold setting would be very tempting to enable, but I'll try to resist the temptation. It's not realistic. Anyway, so it's 79 nautical miles in total. And right now, we don't have a clear indication of where we are. What we can do is get this here, our DME, right? We can measure how far we are from the VOR. So that's one way of doing it. So we can measure 56 miles from the Phuket VOR. And that should be our place. That should be where we are currently. So let's do that. Let's measure that. So from here, if I do a right click and then measure distance from Phuket, 56 miles is around here. Oh, that's perfect. That's why. Because we have the Khao Sok National Park in this area. And that's the lakes. Those are the lakes that we see below us. If you saw that a bit. So that's going to be how it's turning out. Yeah, that's perfect. That is exactly where we are. And look at that view. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm happy again. Even with all the turbulence, I am happy again. That's a photo right there. That's a thumbnail right there. That is looking great. You can even hear the wind whistling. Can you hear it? Oh, that's scary. Right, let me show you what convinced me to be cruising here at 7,000. Let's see. This guy. Turn on the particles animation. So we have, this is where we are. This is where we've come from. Yeah, Phuket. Headed northeast towards Chumphon. This guy. Where it's marginal VFR right now. Yikes. Let me see my altitude here. Don't run away from me. And you can see the winds going from west to east. And if we click any of those at 6,400 feet, so that's close enough to our 7,000 cruising altitude, it's 29 knots west to east. And since we're going northeast, we're getting a lot of that tailwind. A while ago we saw we had like 15 knots of tailwind, right? So like half of that entire wind element we're using as tailwind, pushing us forward. In addition, if we look at the sounding forecast here, we see that yes, that's why I picked 7,000, because we have clouds below, which is accurate to what we're seeing in the sim. Exactly. I'm using the icon forecasting model here in the lower right. That's, I think, the most accurate one with the sim. So it is pretty much cloudy below. 7,000 starts clearing up, and it's perfect. It's exactly what we're experiencing. We don't have clouds, but there's no indication of turbulence or rising parcels in here. But yeah, you look at the winds pretty strong, so that might be what we're seeing. Because if you look at other places, yeah, 7,000, you have some few clouds in there. Few are scattered, but mostly it's clear. But there is no convective activity. Remember that like hatched area and in the green line, the rising parcels? That would be indicative of some rising air or turbulent winds. We don't really have that here. But yeah, we have just strong winds. I think this is like the... Oh yeah, look at that. It's pretty strong winds actually where we are right now. It's pretty mild. And there is a huge typhoon in there. Oh my goodness, that looks scary. You can actually see the eye of the typhoon there. Let's see how it... Oh! What happened? Are we still here? You guys see the plane flip over? Phew! Oh, it's 32 minutes now. Okay, I have to switch tanks. 1 second. Let me double check. Yeah, it's more or less even. Boost pump to low. Switch to low tank. Everything's stable. And look at this, guys. I did an experiment about this in the stream last week when we were exploring Norway. If you accidentally move the fuel tanks to off, like that guy, fuel off, the plane dies, but don't worry, you can bring it back and it comes alive immediately. Right? So it's not a problem. The engine just dies for a little bit, but it goes back alive as soon as you get it, as soon as you get the fuel back. That's reassuring. So in case you misclick, kind of scroll too fast, it's not a lost situation. Good. The same goes with the mixture. If you pull back on the mixture too much, the engine dies, but push forward and it will come back alive. So it's not a touch move kind of scenario. Anyway, alright, so, oh yes, one more thing I wanted to show you, little Navmap. I have this line you see here, you might be wondering about it. 1 second, let's look at our altitude. You might be wondering about that line. That's my indication, just another guidance that I'm on the right track here. This will come especially useful if you don't have VORs, if you're not tracking a VOR. Right now we have a VOR, we're on an exact radial of a VOR. So we know exactly that we're on this line, this magenta line. But if we don't have a VOR guiding us, then this can be a nice checkpoint. This is just saying, at this point, from this VOR, from the Ranong VOR, 113.4, on a 116 radial, so draw a 116 a line 116 degrees from the VOR outbound, like that. 116, right? So somewhere to the southeast. It should touch our waypoint at 27 miles. And how do I use that? Well, in the sim here where my mouse is, I have it set to VOR2 and I have that set to 116 degrees radial. That means when this line becomes straight like this, I am on the 116 radial, right? When we're fully aligned with the 116 radial. And that would mean if I go to nav2 DME, we should be at 27 miles. And in that way I'll know, and I'll be on this position exactly, and I won't be this far off. I won't be here, I won't be there. I'll be exactly 27 miles, so I'll be exactly at this point. And it's a good way to keep aware of where we are all throughout the flight, especially if you have limited VORs in the vicinity. That's a technique that we'll start using as we get to the less sparsely populated VORs. Thankfully here in Thailand, each airport seems to be, each of the airports have ILS approaches, they have VORs everywhere, so we can navigate without GPS just fine. But some areas, I think, like in Australia, from what I've heard from you guys, minimal VORs, so you'll have to use more of those triangulation techniques or whatnot. Alright, that's looking good, 7,000. Alright guys, but yes, I'll keep it here and I'll bring you guys back when we are close to the airport, or when there's something that's, oh, interesting. Wish me luck, I'll need it. That's more like it. Winds have calmed down a lot since when I brought you guys back in. And we are nearing that radial that I set. Remember this one? The 116 radial from the Ranong VOR. We are there now. You can see it's a straight line. Let me show you that one. Yeah, 116, it says there, 115, 116 radial from, so it's a radial on the 113.4 VOR, that's the Ranong VOR. So we can check how far we are from it. Nav2, look at that guys. Perfect, 27 miles exactly. That's what we've computed here. So 27 miles. And if we didn't have the radial from the Phuket VOR guiding us, we would probably have been blown somewhere here to the right because of the winds coming from the west. If we just kept this 26-degree heading, right? So at least we'll know that we were blown off course and we can correct as necessary. And that's pretty interesting. Those are the cool things that I want to learn. In 46 minutes, 1 second. Switch tanks here, left tank, yes we are 10 gallons left, right tank's around 11 or 12, so we're switching to the right tank. Perfect. All good, fuel pressure, fuel flow, engine sounds good. Alright, stable. Switch tanks successfully. Alright, the next VOR is 110.0. Let's tune that in. That should be alive right now. There it is. And why did I not choose? Maybe that's something that is confusing, huh? Why did I, in this flight plan, why did I decide not to go to the VOR instead of the intermediate fix? And that's because I'm expecting with Pilot2ATC that they'll give us vectors. When we're nearby here, they'll give us vectors to final. So we won't have to follow any actual plates, approach plates, or at least the initial approach fix. We don't have to follow it to the letter because they'll give us vectors instead. They'll lead us towards until the intermediate fix. So I'm flying directly to the intermediate fix, waiting for their instructions as we get nearer. Now, if we lose the Phuket VOR signal, because we will soon enough, because we are, let me see, 103 miles away from Phuket now. We've traveled 103 miles already. I'm not sure how I will track going to the intermediate fix then. Because the only radial I have is, only VOR I'll have is Chumphon 110. But I'll take care of it. Worst case, if I'm off track, ATC will guide me, tell me which heading to take, so we can follow what they give us, right? Anyway, catch you guys in a bit. Woo, lightning. Catch you there when we're on the approach. Status update. Getting closer, guys. I've lost track of Phuket VOR now. We are out of range of Phuket. We are 40 miles from Chumphon. And I want to test something different. I want to check if the ATIS at Chumphon is working because we're less than 40 miles now. So I'm going to request to center if we can go and check the weather. Let's see if this works. Center, Arrow India Charlie Lima, request to leave frequency to check weather.
Arrow India Charlie Lima, roger. Report when back when.
We'll report when back on frequency, Arrow India Charlie Lima. Ooh, that worked, nice. Okay, so now we have, we can tune into COM2, which is 128.45, the ATIS for Chumphon, based on the chart. This is what I'm looking at. Yeah, so the chart, the approach chart for ILS24 is has that ATIS in there. The airport chart should also have it, ATIS 128.45. Let's see. So now I tune into COM2.
Chumphon Information Alpha.
Ah, there it is, Chumphon.
260 at 6 knots.
Information Alpha.
Visibility 3 miles and lieutenant
260
rain.
at 6.
2,000 few clouds.
Raining.
10,000 overcast. Temperature 23. Dew point 23. Current QNH is 1008. Arriving at departing runway 24. Chumphon
Basically same
Information
QNH.
Alpha. Winds are 260 at 6 knots. Visibility 3 miles and lieutenant rain. 2,000 few clouds. 10,000 overcast. Temperature 23. Dew point 23. Current QNH is 1008. Arriving and departing runway 24.
24, okay. So we know that we will be given a 24 frequency. 1 second.
Chumphon information alpha. Winds are 2.
There we go. Sometimes it's a bit buggy with switching frequencies. Alright, so now let's report back. Center, Arrow India Charlie Lima, back with you.
Arrow India Charlie Lime Roger.
Oh, different frequency now. Different controller. Alright, cool. I'll take that. Nice. So now we know that it's right to expect this approach. We'll probably be given an ILS approach to runway 24. There is bad visibility, it says. There is light rain as well. And we have few clouds at 2,000-ish and overcast at 10,000. But yeah, it's the mist that will make it really challenging with the visibility. Alright, so this is the one I expect. That's Igako, the intermediate fix that we're going to. I'm expecting when we're around 20 miles before we reach the airport, more or less, we should be transferred to approach 122.6, so I'll tune into that one as well. And when we switch, we'll probably be given vectors to final. So we'll see how that works, and I will bring you guys back when that happens. 122.6. Wish us luck. 1 hour, 1 second, I'll bring you guys here. Before I let you go, let's switch tanks to the left one. Nice. Okay guys, catch you in a bit. Aha, okay, it's begun. We've just been given our first descent instruction and vectors to final, and perfect timing. ILS frequency has just come alive. So let's go ahead and set that up. We've been given 029er on the heading and descent to 6,000 feet as instruction.
Arrow India Charlie Lima descend and maintain 5,000 feet.
Descend and maintain 5,000 feet, Arrow India Charlie Lima. Okay, 5,000 it is. Let's continue descending there. Now the course for the ILS is 241, so let's already set that up. 241 for the course. 24, let's 241. Good. Looking good. Glide slope is also alive. Airport should be to our left, perhaps. Somewhere there. Let me see. Maybe we can spot it from outside. Not really, but I'm assuming it's somewhere there. That's my guess.
Arrow India Charlie Lima descend and maintain 3,000 feet. Arrow India Charlie Lima turn right heading 034.
Turn right heading 034, Arrow India Charlie Lima. 034 is around there. We've been cleared to 3,000 feet as well. That's going to be the final approach altitude. That's the altitude at which we'll be intercepting the glide slope. So that's going to be the final descent instruction for us until we are cleared for the approach. We also haven't been switched to approach yet. Maybe they won't. Maybe they'll switch us to tower immediately. We'll see. We'll see. Okay, but that's looking good. Let's see where we are. We are tuning the VOR here, 110.0 on VOR2.
Arrow
So if you
India
adjust the
Charlie Lima
radial,
turn left heading 029er.
turn left heading 029er, Arrow India Charlie Lima. Okay, let's see. So we are, oh, there it is. So we are on a 300 radial. So how does that work? From the airport, if you draw a 300, oh, that's a 2. That's 2. From our point, 300 should be somewhere there. So the airport is probably along that way. Right? Because to our west is 270. That is 300. Well, that's changing quickly. Okay, that's good. It's getting closer and closer to 270. So that means we're starting to... The airport is starting to go there where my mouse is until it's right abeam us. Till it's right to our left. Right to our left. You get the picture. Oh, and we are close to 3,000 feet there. So that's a good indication of how to tell where you are. 3,000 feet, let's keep it there. Let's not go below it, please. Thank you. Let me lean the mixture as necessary. 3,000 feet, there it is. Good. So we are kind of on a downwind leg here. A semi-modified downwind leg. Alright. Radial 275 course to the airport, so the airport should be somewhere there. Can we see it from here? Maybe it's that one, maybe it's that one. Still a bit hard to see, we're still a bit far. Wow, the vectoring legs from ATC is quite huge actually. I think
Charlie Lima, turn left heading
310. Turn left heading 310, Arrow India Charlie Lima. But yes,
okay.
There we go.
Fly heading 270 to intercept final.
Heading 270 to intercept final, cleared for the ILS approach. Arrow India Charlie Lima. Oh, they actually understood me.
Lima negative. Expect the ILS at Victor Tango Sierra Echo.
Okay, maybe they didn't understand me correctly. Right, that's good. But yes, we are cleared for the approach. So now what we'll do is we'll continue heading 270 as instructed. After we get closer, because the ILS we got so far, the ILS frequency actually died on us again. We're not tracking it anymore. We're not picking it up. So if we look at the VOR instead, we are 19 miles away from the airport, from the VOR to be specific. So when we are around 15 miles, the ILS should come alive again, and from there we should be able to intercept the ILS. It should come alive here. But right now we're just trusting what ATC is telling us, and we're keeping it at 3,000 feet. Now the weather doesn't look too bad. Not as bad as the ATIS was telling. Maybe the weather changed. Maybe it's one of those inequalities. No, the inconsistencies rather. With what the sim is showing versus what the meter is. We will see as we get closer. Ah, there it is. It's alive. There it is. Good. So the ILS is alive. 1 second. I think I put that wrong. Turn off the autopilot. Let's go and correct manually. Crap. I think I hit the back course in there or something. Might be the wrong dial. I think in a normal case, ATC might actually tell me to go around here if I blow past the localizer, but they are probably being very forgiving right now, thankfully. So let's correct. Let's intercept that. Ah, there's the airport. You see it? There it is. Awesome.
Arrow India Charlie Lima QNH is 1008 at Chumphon Contact Tower on 122.15. Have a good morning.
122.15, alright. Joanna, read that back.
QNH is 1008 Tower on 122.15. Arrow India Charlie Lima.
Good, 122.15. Tune into COM2. And let's check in with Tower. Tower, Arrow India Charlie Lima. Inbound ILS 24.
Arrow India Charlie Lima, this is Tower, go ahead.
Oh, he didn't get me. Arrow India Charlie Lima, inbound ILS runway 24. Okay, let's let Joanna report that. That's one of the challenges I have. It only responds to specific phraseology. Let me try that one more time. Arrow India Charlie Lima inbound for ILS approach runway 24.
Arrow India Charlie Lima.
There we go.
Radar contact. Continue ILS to runway 24. Call when established on final.
Continue ILS runway 24. Will call when established on final. Arrow India Charlie Lima. Yeah, that's why oftentimes I would use Joanna for the readback just so it's smoother. But sometimes it's fun. Sometimes it's fun being feeling like you're really doing this single pilot, right? There it is. Glide slopes alive. Getting close. 12 miles away. We can actually switch back to nav 1 here. Is that nav 1 already? That is nav 1. Okay, cool. Alright. Final approach fix should be at... let me see. 7.1. Is it? 7.1 DME from the ILS. That means we have like 5 more miles to go. Not sure that's accurate. We'll see, we'll see. 1 second. I think I read that chart wrong. Okay, let's do this again. So if you look at the chart, it says here 3,000, but apparently there, the final approach fix is what? 1,900. So we should be descending to 1,900. And then we intercept the glide slope from there. I doubt it will... we need to be that strict, because we do have the glide slope in range already, but we can follow it as close as possible, right? And we could report to tower already that we are established, so let's try that. Tower, Arrow India Charlie Lima established on final for ILS runway 24. Let's see if they understood us this time. Doesn't seem like it. Let's try it one more time. Tower, Arrow India Charlie Lima established on final for ILS runway 24. Maybe they're just busy. Let's leave it. Let's have Joanna do it for us.
Arrow India Charlie Lima established on final for ILS runway 24. Arrow India Charlie Lima winds are 260 at 6 knots, cleared to land runway 24.
Okay, with them, it's working. Clear to land runway 24, Arrow India Charlie Lima. 1,900.
Charlie Lima negative. You are cleared to land on runway 24.
Whew. Yeah, the readback is pretty crappy.
Arrow India Charlie Lima.
We'll need Joanna for that, I think. We'll see. Anyway, you guys let me know if you want to continue with Pilot2ATC, and we will adjust accordingly. It is fun though, getting those additional directions from ATC. Makes the flight even more exciting with the need to change frequencies and whatnot. Alright, there we are. DME 7.1 coming up. 1,900. Glide slope. There, perfect. Okay, there it is. Let's start descending. Let's do the gumps check. It would be the left tag. We're approaching 1 hour 30 minutes anyway. Switch to left tag for gas. Fuller tank. Undercarriage. Let's go ahead and turn off the automatic gear extension here. Let me go and pitch up a bit to lose that airspeed. Below 133 knots we should be safe. Gear going down. Still on the glide slope, that's perfect. Alright, so undercarriage we have the gears down mixture. Go full rich. Props. Propeller going full forward. Let's go ahead and follow that glide slope. Start slowing down here, pitching up, trimming up. so that we can get into the safe extension for flaps. There it is, 105 knots. Continue pitching up, slowing us down. There it is. First notch of flaps going down. Awesome. Our crab here, guys, 260 at 6 knots. That seems to be perfectly in sync. Going to second notch, flaps 25. Good. Right, let's go and fly manually from here, so I can get a feel for the plane and the winds. Trimming. We're a bit low, but we're still a bit fast, so I'm going to be pulling up. Okay, good. No other aircraft in sight. Not sure why they had to vector us all the way around, but maybe they just wanted to have some fun, get some excitement in. Okay, there it is. Almost 75 knots. That's our approach speed. So the pitching up should stop right now. Perfect. Okay, that looks great. And from here, we'll maintain this pitch. And if you need to go descend faster or slower, then we'll adjust the power accordingly so that our airspeed will remain the same. 75 knots, there it is. We are a bit too much on the left, so let's scooch over to the right here. Need to crab a little more. Pulling back on the power a bit, because we are a bit high. Here it is. That looks perfect. There are some trees though right before the runway. Can you see? It's a bit tricky, so it might be better to a bit higher here. Ah, look at that. The water looks beautiful. Focus. All right. Start descending. That looks good. Getting a bit windy here as we get closer to the trees. Start feeling the winds near the ground. Starts to get bumpy. Also, do you guys notice the winds right before we descended? Super calm. Night and day difference with the winds when we left Phuket. Hammering winds near the mountains there. Looking good. Yeah, let's keep it that way. It's perfect. Also not crabbing as much anymore, because we are getting lower where the winds are calmer. Runway 24. Yes. Perfect on the heading. Awesome. Let's continue descending as we get closer, pulling back on the throttle bit by bit, starting the round out.
Aero India Charlie Lima exit runway when
There
able.
it is. Yeah. Thank you. Oh, I missed the taxiway. There should be one more here if I remember correctly, the airport diagram, because there is no taxiway line. Or there it is. Good. Alright. Those flaps up. Let's open our window here. Oh, we forgot to turn on the boost pump in the landing lights. Oh, the switches. We did a gump check without the S. Gumps, supposedly, with the switches. My bad. Alright, we went past the line. Clear of active, Aero India Charlie Lima. Clear of active, Aero India Charlie Lima.
Aero India Charlie Lima, welcome to Chumphon. There is no ground control at this airport. Let us know if you need taxi instructions.
Okay, yeah, we don't need. We're okay there. Just park right next to these guys. Awesome. Thank you, Pilot2ATC. Alright, let's start cleaning up the plane. Turn off the avionics. Transponder. Radios. DME. Where can I park? Well, I guess I could just scooch over here. Awesome. Lights. Is he guiding me where to go? I think there's someone else. I hear someone else's engine. That's okay. Alright, let's leave it here. Maybe not the best parking. That's fine. Well, they'll just tow us somewhere where we need to go. Good. Alright. Beautiful sound as always. Strobes off. Fuel tank off. Magnetos going off as well. Perfect. Alright, looking good. Beacons can go off. Awesome, guys. Well, I hope you enjoyed that flight. Sorry it went a bit longer. But yes, let me know. Should we continue using Pilot2ATC? What other adjustments should we do? Thanks for watching. Have a nice day. Clumsy flying. Catch you in the next leg. Bye-bye.